Hey, what's up, guys? So, as you can see, I lost trial 1 yesterday, and it turned out to actually be a very close match. And so there were some things that I definitely learned from my offense and how to maybe try to go about it a little bit better, and some things I picked up from my opponent's defense. So I dropped down to 83 in the ranking, and as far as this week's ranking, I'm in the 0 wins bracket. And so in this bracket is Zero, Birdman, and Luma. And so let's take a look to see my opponent's stats here. So this is Zero, and this is me. And so this is what I'm running on defense. It's pretty much the same as yesterday, except I was thinking about trying out Pegasus. I actually didn't mean to keep him in here. I wanted to get some feedback from Updog and see how his did. But after doing a running around, I had to do that. I took a nap, and then I woke up after CC had started. So we'll just see how it goes. And I decided to try my opponent's idea of Strange with the Rogue Extreme, and I think I ran this once before, and it kind of got blew out the water with the Superior 6. I think it was probably Superior 6 Vulture, but for me, it's 2 times now that I've gone against it, and I think the first time I might have had Superior 6, and maybe I played it wrong or something, and Strange was able to bring back some of the Xmen, and this time around I was going for Strange, and so I didn't have Superior 6, and it took me 3 attacks to beat the room. So we'll see if he needs Superior 6 somewhere else, if he's going to use them on 5, or how this will break down. Zero is very creative with how he does his counters, and he's got a lot on offense, so I'm sure this will be it won't be too hard for him there. My room 6 has given people problems, so I hope that'll happen. And Zero usually has Odin and Mephisto on offense, so we'll see how he goes about trying to get the one-shots here. So this is definitely going to be about efficiency, as I'm sure he's trying to play this everything here for a one-shot. And so this is what he has on defense. And so keeping in mind that he's probably going to one-shot everything, I have to really think about how to get the best out of my counters. And the first thing that I looked at was, okay, I haven't gone against Orchis in 6, and he's got Emma in there. So I said, well, I'm still going to use the Night Stalkers, but I'm going in with Ares, and we'll see how that works out. And mostly because the Ares, I don't want to use Apoc. I think that I can use Apoc somewhere else to help with efficiency. And so we'll swing back over, because this will be Cabal for me in 1, with probably Ultimus and Zemo. And hopefully I can go in and have a decent score with this. I think for room 2, I'm a little bit undecided, but I think the Mercs makes this safe. The Mercs with Black Cat. So I think I'll probably do that. And then, of course, Spider Society on 3. And between 4 and 5, I'm undecided, because I would have Masters of Evil, which I've taken them up. They're G19 except Absorber Man, and Apoc, and then Superior 6. And I'm not sure yet which one I want to use it on. Superior 6 on 5 maybe, just because I think they'll be able to take the pings a bit better. And you have Oath with the new stats. He's got 6 red Oath. That's what I'm leaning towards. But I probably will safe play room 4, not to get caught behind some kind of tricky little speed up with that little bishop in there, and doing the Masters of Evil with Apoc. And Apoc could be overkill here, but once again, it's to make sure I get the efficiency. So let's see how this goes. So I wanted to start with room 1, and I decided to take Vulture in with Cabal and Ultimus. Mostly because I think I can use the full Superior 6 on his room 5 and be fine. And so Vulture is just there because he'd be much more damaged, and the hope is sustainability, able to live over thought is I want all my teams to live no matter what, as well as one shot. And so, to my surprise, I was able to get control over the Black Knight pretty quickly. And you see I targeted Strange, so that puts me in control of the match. And here's Vulture, so he just did a lot of damage because he's with the ball, and it makes his counter nice and swift. So Vulture with Ultimates, when you see that type of room one, would be a good addition. And so here, I decided to play it safe, going with the Mercs, as I was saying earlier, and then Black Cat. I think this is probably a very safe way to go into this room because I'm seeing how this particular defense can be tricky. And so what we want to keep in mind is that the Undying is slow, but if they're able to come back, especially with a Doom, then it could be a disaster for your team. Like if you're using the Warriors, even the Warriors Black Cat may struggle. A Hive Mind, definitely I saw that struggle because Winston put that up and he showed how that was somewhat difficult. So my thought is let's go and steal revives, and then Old Man Logan will keep reviving. And this will mean it's just a matter of time. The thing is I didn't expect Old Man Logan and the Docket to put in so much damage that they would just wipe the team out this fast. And I did expect the Doom to get his ult when I saw him drop into the yellow, and he didn't. So that was surprising. So that's good to know that you can take control over this team like this. And if you can spare it, the Mercs, the Black Cat would be an excellent counter if you happen to see this particular defense. Mostly because it's extremely safe and it's not super efficient, but I would say it's average or slightly above average with the efficiency, just judging by how this match is going at this point. And so just keep this one in mind as a backup plan if need be. And so then going into room 3, I was kind of surprised that he was running the BiFrost because me and Updog had tried it, we moved away from it. And so I'm thinking, well, this will be fine. I've seen the battle, and I've seen it on the counter sheet and against me. And to my surprise, this particular placement order must have something to do with making this battle last a bit longer. And I'm actually going to switch to this because I see no reason not to run BiFrost in here. I don't think anything else is going to do better than this. But surprisingly, this was a bit harder to beat than I thought. I thought I'd get through it much quicker. And maybe because I focused too long on the ball, maybe I should have moved over to Beta Ray Bill or just anybody else. I don't know. It definitely was probably a skill error here as far as the damage that I'm taking so early on. Now, mind you, I don't think the battle is in doubt. Once again, Zero put this in here obviously because it's just no other reason to put like your Spider Society or Alpha Flight in here or the Alpha Flight Void Knight because guys just use Spider Society on it. But surprisingly, this is an efficiency drain when you compare it to the having a Spider Society Scroll or a Alpha Flight Void Knight. Now, yesterday I did go against a Spider Society Scroll with Ares, and that is difficult. So that's something to consider as long as you're prepared for what you'll have to face in room 3 by not having Spider Society. But I do think this particular placement order is why it's taking so long for this battle to be won. And my only hope as it was taking so long was just to get my team on full health so that I would have the efficiency on that part. But as far as the turn bonus, it's like it's taking a lot of turns considering this is Spider Society in the raid room. And so maybe Bifrost is the answer just going forward. If you have them all at, I would say 100 G18. I think the only one I have at 19 is Ball, and I didn't check, but Zero probably has something similar as to what I would be having in mind. And so here, it's just to play a safe move, Apoc with the Masters of Evil. Yeah, the Bishop is a concern just because you might get the speed up here. I'm not sure that there's a chance for much damage. It's just that there would be some damage. As you see, Wolverine gets the speed up. And so I was thinking he was going to hit harder than that. I'm glad he didn't. Now, here I wasn't sure if I should use the basic. It's like she's on an island. and I'm losing a little bit by not using the special, but I think it played out to my favor because you can see how much damage is done to the rogue, and the rogue is the real damage on this team. So I stayed focused on her. It's probably a little bit longer than I should have, but after I get the rogue kind of under control, it's like, let's take care of Cyclops because I don't want him to ult. And so that was the main focus at that point. Now you see Rogue is dead from the Apoc ult, and I'm deciding on Wolverine or the Cyclops. Yep, the Cyclops, because he'll put the damage in, and Wolverine is just not hitting that hard into the team I have now because they are all G19. Now I thought the Kang would kill them on that ult, he didn't. So that was a surprise that Kang is not as powerful on the Xmen as deleting them if your Xmen are somewhat built up. And so now I'm just going to go with the full Superior 6. And my thought is, it's not about being super efficient. It's more about just making sure I clear the room and it's a one-shot. Because at this point, and Zero did let me know that he had messed up, so I figured he'd drop the room. But even if the mess up meant that he just had poor efficiency, it's like, well, I don't think I have poor efficiency. I'll probably get an average score using this team. But Superior 6 is just going to be too strong because this is the Cosmic Crucible team as a whole. And so the idea is you just want to go in and kind of be strategic in how you're going to chip away at them. What I did not expect is that the Gambit would die so soon. But I think the key thing to remember is there's no rogue here to give him safeguards. So you can see how low he is. And he's not really much of a threat at this point. It's really more of an ult, which was a good selection to put in there because he has a 6 red ult. And so I wanted to shift my attention to her to make sure that I get rid of the other set of kings and any potential damage she could do. And so you see, that's pretty much what happens. Just zeroing in on her. Phoenix does get off her health steal. It was not too much I could do about that. Like, just stay on the hold and try to get her out of there, and then we'll worry about this Phoenix. Because Phoenix is, even though she could be a G19, I didn't pay attention. It would take a couple turns to kill her. Oath is the threat at this point, or probably from the beginning, to make sure I take care of her and get her out of the way. And so you see I'm chipping away at her. Even though I've got a heal block on her, I'm still a little worried. So I'm glad that the Kraven was able to take her out, and now it's just taking a couple more turns to take care of this Phoenix, and then it's over. And so as we move into the final room, I was a little concerned because I had not gone against the Orchis in 6, and then he has Emma in there, so I know they're going to get more barrier. And it's like, well, you're going to have to go ahead and take in this area to get rid of Safeguard, because you don't want Safeguard and 30% more barrier, because they'll get a chance to fire back, and that might wipe out my Night Stalkers. So I'm going with Ares. They don't have Safeguard, and I thought Emma would fall apart a little bit sooner than this, and she didn't. So I was a little concerned, but as the pings start taking place and it's not too much longer, Emma's out of the picture, I figured now this is turning more into a normal match. The LDS is still pretty healthy, so I figure she's going to get in and cause some damage. And you see the Sentinel is able to summon his bots, so it's like they're going to get some turns. But the main thing here is just go in, try to get over the LDS as soon as possible, because she's the main damage dealer, as well as I don't want the Scientist Supreme to revive anybody, and that's why I put the target on her. Now Scientist Supreme is very much under control. She has a heal block, but to play it safe, it's still like, let's just get her out of there. And so it was a good move because she cleared it, and so I'm just taking her out, and it's like, okay, we'll just chip away at the LDS and the Sentinel. I targeted the Sentinel. I expected LDS to die, but the Sentinel died, and that's fine, because at this point it's pretty much game over. It's just a couple turns. I can wrap this up.